Hey everybody, welcome back. New demo for you today. Recently I did a video on my Hughes and Kettner Grandmeister 36 amplifier using the TM212 speaker cabinet, also from Hughes and Kettner. It's a 2x12 cabinet loaded with vintage 30s, and it goes with the Grandmeister, the Tubemeister, well, really any of their amplifiers. If you stand it up straight in a vertical position, its dimensions fit the small Tubemeister head. If you flip it sideways, it's the same width as a full 100 watts, so you could use it, either way. So anyway, what I'm going to do for you today, the speaker cabinet, as I mentioned, comes loaded with vintage 30s. When I did the demo of the Grandmeister head, it had the vintage 30 speakers in it. I have changed those speakers to Celestion G12K100 speakers at this point. Personally, I think it made a huge difference in the tone of the amplifier. It seemed to reduce that harsh and scratchy tone that vintage 30s have, at least in my ear. The mid hump is gone. These speakers are much smoother, and they have a humongous bottom end. Okay, they are just they sound so much more massive than anything I've ever heard. So today I'm going to do the demo video for you with the K100 speakers. I'm going to use all 4 channels, which are programmed to my preferred presets. Okay, I have one that is a clean, I have one that's a crunch. I'm shooting for kind of 70s Marshall. I've got one that's kind of a hot rod Marshall sound, and then I've got one that's real similar to a Mesa Boogie type tone. You Mesa guys may say, "No, you're full of crap," and that's fine, but it's more Mesa than it is Marshall. Okay, so anyway, that's my 4 tones I'm going to use. Les Paul Custom 498, 490. And I'm just going to run through these 4 channels with the K100s. That way you can kind of hear that and just hear how these speakers perform under a variety of tones. And if you want to, you can look at my other video, the demo of the Grandmeister. It's on my channel, and you will hear this amp with vintage 30s. So okay, this is the K100s. I'm going to go ahead and start out with some clean. I'm going to go on the bridge channel, and as always, just excuse the playing. I'm trying to do a gear demo, not a skill demo. So here we go. So that's all 3 pickups, and I said that's just straight out clean. One thing you can do with them, and as you notice, the response is real flat. It's nice. You can get some kind of bluesy type stuff going. So that's pretty nice. I'm going to engage the boost on that clean channel, and again, you'll really hear the bite here. And again, that was actually the boosted clean channel. That was not the crunch. That was the same EQ and everything as my clean tone, just with the amp's internal boost engaged. Alright, so now, crunch channel. I said this one I'm shooting for kind of classic Marshall. I don't know if I hit it or not, but that's what I was going for. So we'll do a couple things over here. So again, you have a real flat response. It doesn't have a scratchy sound. You know, in vintage 30s, to my ear, they always sounded just scratchy and kind of harsh, almost. In fact, I think one of the biggest mistakes I ever made, gear-wise, was buying a 1960 AV Marshall cabinet versus a 1960A, because the vintage 30s just had that hard sound, and to me, that cabinet always just sounded terrible. And then I got a standard Marshall cabinet with the Celestion G12K100, and it was just so much better. So personally, I don't like vintage 30s. I know a lot of people do, and perhaps you'll like them better than these K100s, but so far I think these are just really the coolest speakers. Really flat response. It lets the amp shine through more. It doesn't color the tone like the vintage 30s do, so really what you're hearing is more of the amp itself. And I like that. So, and you'll see here in just a minute when I go over to the fourth tone that I'm going to do, you're going to hear the bottom end, and it's incredible. All right, so now moving up, this is my sort of hot rod Marshall 80s type of sound kind of thing. So, yeah, so here we go. Sorry, I played that wrong. enough of that. Alright, so now we're going to go on over to that. No, wait a second, I'm going to do one more thing. Do some neck pickup stuff on this tone for you. I'm sorry, but I have to. Perhaps I should learn to play it better first. Alright, so now I'm going to go to the heavy tone. This one, like I say, this one's sort of Mesa Boogie based, as far as I can tell. So it's a really good tone, I think. Yeah, I like it, and so I'm gonna throw a little Metallica at you, I guess, and see where we land. Sorry, I just learned that one. I don't know that that well. Alright, so let's see. I'm going to do something kind of corny here. Okay, I'm going to drop it real quick. Let's try it. Well, that's going to do it. That's about 15 minutes worth of junk, so I guess that'll work. Just closing notes, I want to mention that hopefully through the camera mic, because I am just using the microphone on the camera, hopefully it doesn't have a wet blanket sound, because I think that it may. Because the speakers, I say, nothing jumps out of these speakers. You know, with T75s, the high end, the upper mids, they're kind of out there. With the Vintage 30, the mids are, it's the mid hump. With these, nothing really jumps out. If anything, the bottom end is sort of boosted with these speakers. So what the result is the amplifier has to be EQ'd a little brighter, but the bottom end is just so huge that it's totally worth it. I know that you can't feel what I do in this room, but on that last sound bit right there, man, this thing just thumps. It is unbelievable what these K100s will do. give them a try. You know, if you get a chance, definitely give it a try, because I mean, I'm telling you, these are great. These are my favorite speakers so far. And another thing, the louder that you get them, the better that they sound. They really have a wet blanket thing at low volumes, but once you get them pushed a little bit, at that point you really start to hear what they can do, and it is awesome. It's so much better. You know, used to I like to stand directly in front of the amp where the tone hits my ear, so that I can really tell how I'm EQ'd and where everything's at. And the vintage 30s always had this sort of sound that was harsh and biting. It hurt my ears to stand out in front of the cabinet, and I just didn't like it. Sort of almost fizzy, okay? And the K100's got rid of that. Now there's a nice, smooth, even tone. It's really good. I think in a band they would do very well. You just have to EQ them brighter, but they're definitely going to bring a lot more bottom in. So if you're in a band with you know, 2 guitars and one, you know, with a guy with a rhythm guy and all that stuff, these would be just awesome for you. They handle lead. Obviously, I'm a crappy lead player, so I'm sorry I can't do better on that for you. But you know, they do very well with higher registry notes also. So I think it's a great all-around speaker. It's really, as I said, it's the best in my opinion that I've tried. So I recommend them, and if you get a chance to try them, definitely take advantage.